Is it gel?
Here we go.
Jesus.
You are live. All right. Let me just make sure we're on YouTube really quickly, Ben.
Ethan, get away. Come on, I want to see this. I want to see
What's up, Ethan?
this. Look at him.
We decided to gel my hair.
Ethan gelled his hair. time.
What the heck?
It looks pretty crazy.
Oh, we're live.
Okay.
We are live. Ben, this is a big accomplishment.
Taking 40 minutes.
Our first live stream.
We're finally live. Look.
Ben, this is crazy.
All right, so can we start talking or?
We can start talking. I mean, what else? Should I give a quick put this on the Snapchat really quickly?
If you want to.
Jeremy?
I was just reading this.
All right, I'm putting.
Is he back in the NBA?
No. Keith, you smell terrible. Get out of here.
I gotta get the link. Hold up.
Gel.
I gotta wash that. It smells so bad.
I think it smells like hope.
Have we still not gotten the YouTube link?
No, we have. We're live. If you look on YouTube, you will see your nice faces. All right, here we go.
All right.
Should we start with our first topic of the night?
Sure, let's go.
Evening, we could say. Bears draft.
That's a big one.
Bears had no day one selections, 2 day twos, both occurring in the mid-second round.
That's kind of going to be our big, that's going to be the big part of this draft, in my opinion.
Yeah. So what are your takes, Ben, on the Bears overall draft? Starting from day two.
Starting from day two.
Chronologically down.
We didn't have that much expectations going into the draft because we didn't have a first-round pick. So it was kind of about getting what we could get where we were. Now, I think the Bears did a good job. I think the Bears needed a tight end, and Cole Kmet kind of fits that. So do you agree with that, Brad?
I do agree with that, Ben. I think the Bears – our second-round selection, Jalen Johnson out of the University of Utah, amazing pick. I really love what he can do on the field. He complements Kyle Fuller very well in our array of safeties. We know Eddie Jackson will start. We don't know about our other strong safety. But overall, I think a solid draft. Now, a bunch of analysts gave us D's, C's at best. Not the greatest rating, but I think Ryan Pace and the Bears front office did a solid job in this year's draft.
They need to hit this draft because the past it's been a little rough. The Bears need something this year.
The Bears did need something. I mean, you can't wish for everything in the world. The Bears don't have the overall. In most years, we don't have the greatest picks. I mean, a couple years ago when we drafted Roquan and Leonard Floyd, we were in early to mid Kevin White, but we were never up there. And the one time we were up there, we all know what happened. We got Mitch Trubisky. Will he play? But the big question going into this season is, will he play a snap this year? Stephen A. Smith rips him every other week on First Take. All the other analysts are saying Nick Foles is the guy. Nick Foles will start all 16 games. Nick Foles will.
I just don't see Nick Foles succeeding. I think maybe Nick Foles wins the battle going into the season, but I don't think he's a regular season type guy. Like last year, kind of got outplayed by Gardner Minshew. I haven't seen anything great from him in 3 years. He's really boomer bust in my opinion. So I think
just said last year in Jacksonville, it was a weird situation. Gardner Minshew started on a hot streak, kind of fell apart. Nick Foles came back in at the late part of the season, at the end of the season. But overall, it wasn't the best environment for Nick Foles in Jacksonville.
Jacksonville, not a good environment.
Nick Foles is just a stable environment in Philly. Knew he was the backup. Won them a Super Bowl as the starter when Carson went down in that brilliant 2017 season. So overall, I think it was a fine signing. I think he's a fine player, but will he take us to a Super Bowl? Not even a Super Bowl championship or a Super Bowl. I just don't think so.
It's hard because he has taken a team to a Super Bowl, and that's the thing that's just he doesn't seem like the type of quarterback that you say that's a Super Bowl winning quarterback, but he's done it before, so we
He's
can
done
hope.
it.
We can hope.
We can hope. All you can do is hope in Chicago. Turning to another team in Chicago, the Chicago Bulls.
Oh God,
a lot of hope now. Completely revamped front office.
That is true.
New general manager Mark Eversley, who was the former assistant general manager on the Philadelphia 76ers, worked at Nike for 10 plus years, worked on the Raptors, the Wizards. Bunch of solid applicants, but we chose him. Why Mark Eversley?
I have not seen Mark Eversley before, but I do like the signing of Arturas Karnisovas. I think that is a great signing. Coming from a successful team in Denver, that is a new page. I think getting rid of Garpax was huge. That had grown stagnant. But Arturas, he's immediately taken charge of the team, and I think that he could really bring the Bulls to new heights. So.
I'm very excited to see what happens with the head coach position. I mean,
who do you think?
I don't think many people in Chicago are a fan of Jim Boylan, want him being the head coach of the Chicago Bulls in the coming years. We have so much promising young talent, and he just throws it away. I mean, and we all know Lauri Markkanen doesn't have a good relationship with him. Zach LaVine doesn't have a good relationship with him. Chris Dunn. They just don't fit, and I think we need a new head coach. Who are some candidates, Ben, that you think would be good replacements?
Well, I've seen some names being thrown around, and I've seen potentially I guess not anymore, but the Thunder are going to keep Billy Donovan, so that's not an option. But if we go to the college level, who do you think are some guys that could go to the Bulls? Like which college coach would you most like to see going to Chicago?
Geesh, this might be a little crazy. But I really love Florida State and what they've done to that program, not getting huge recruits, but now getting Scotty Barnes in this upcoming year's class. I think Florida State overall has been so consistent in that ACC for so many years. And I don't know. I think that's what the Bulls need right now. I think Florida State, Leonard Hamilton, I think he's a good coach. I think he's a good guy. I think he'll get the job done. That's worst case scenario. That's not best case scenario by any means.
He's 70. That would not be where I would turn. I mean, if we could grab like a Tony Bennett,
Jim Boeheim.
But again,
he's up there in age. Cleveland Cavaliers snagged him, and he's no longer is employed.
Okay, well, that is a good example of a coach that probably should have just stuck to college.
Should have.
That's deep for me.
But the University of Michigan is so corrupt. I don't know if you wanted to be in that corruption any longer.
Oh.
Let's be real. Next up, we're gonna talk about this upcoming year's season for the Chicago Bears. The Bears have a mix of expectations. Some giving us a top 10 pick next year. Some giving us a run at the Super Bowl. Ben, what do you? Varying expectations.
I think we'll fall somewhere between top 10 pick and run at the Super Bowl. I could see the Bears starting off pretty decently, but I just don't think we have a playoff team this year. With our quarterback situation and our lack of dynamic receivers other than Allen Robinson, I struggle to see us as a playoff team.
In a mock draft the other day, I actually saw that Justin Fields, which was projected 4th to go to the Chicago Bears. Trevor Lawrence, of course, won.
4th?
The Jacksonville Jaguars.
They had the Bears at 4th? Oh, my God.
But I would be thrilled with Justin Fields.
So you're kind of like tank for Justin in a way? Would you be fine with that?
Tank for Justin, but there are going to be a heck of a lot of other teams tanking for Trevor, and if they don't get Trevor, Justin Fields. This year there weren't an abundance of quarterbacks, but there were still a couple. But there are still definitely some teams that need some quarterbacks. I mean, look at the Panthers. They gave Teddy Bridgewater a shot. Will he pan out? We don't know. Yeah.
See, there are a lot PJ Walker back up. We could see an
PJ Walker. I was so distraught that the XFL folded. But that's only one team. I mean, the Jaguars definitely need a guy. Everyone's saying the Patriots, of course.
What do you think the Patriots do here? with Jarrett Stidham as their starting quarterback, I don't see that.
I don't think Jarrett Stidham will get the job done. I think everyone thinks that.
Don't you think that maybe the Patriots will sign Andy Dalton or?
I would rather have Cam Newton, personally,
Yeah.
but the Patriots, they're a different organization. They run
There's
things
that-
a lot differently.
There's that injury risk with Cam that Andy Dalton doesn't have. I don't know.
There's big injury risk with Cam, of course. Yes.
I don't see the Patriots making the playoffs unless Bill Belichick works some magic. Their roster's not that good anymore. With no.
But you gotta say their defense was the best defense in the NFL last year. Tom Brady.
They lost.
Tom Brady.
They lost.
Tom Brady.
Dalton. I mean,
Tom Brady could not get a win against a Titans team that snuck into the wild card with the best defense in the NFL. Did he not? Did he have lower tier weapons? Sure. Julian Edelman's getting older. He lost Danny Amendola a few years ago. Lost Gronk. He's lost a lot of guys.
He was trusting
lost Josh Gordon.
Jacoby Myers and N'Keal Harry are not gonna. You don't want those to be your top three, part of your top three receivers. So I don't blame Brady.
But I have to say, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, their offense might be one of the best offenses in modern day history.
We'll see how Gronk is.
If you look at the weapons, they have 3 tight ends that could all be Pro Bowlers and could all be Pro Bowlers on the same team. Just fathom that for a second.
2 all-time receivers.
OJ Howard, Gronk, and Cameron Brate, all phenomenal tight ends.
I think they're probably going to cut one of them. I don't think.
I was praying before the draft the Bears would trade for Cameron Brate. Praying, but I love Cole Kmet, Notre Dame guy.
That's good. Jimmy Graham's washed. I'm sorry.
Just another weapon. Just another weapon.
I don't think he's a weapon.
But yeah, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, 2 great receivers. Can Tom Brady do it though? I don't know.
He doesn't have a running back, which he kind of likes throwing to a running back, and the Bucs don't really have that.
Yeah.
Peyton Barber's
Peyton Barber, in my opinion, is one of the most overrated, if not the most overrated player in the National Football League.
And he's not a pass catching running back. He's kind of not great at all. So that's that. How do you feel? What about the Cubs? How do you feel about the Cubs? If the MLB was to start soon?
I don't know. I really love that we hired David Ross to come in as our new manager. I love that hire. I think overall was a great move. But I'm not sure. I don't think we made enough moves in the offseason to put us up there as a contender. I think the Astros, being where they are, I don't think they'll contend. Red Sox as well. Just with all that's going on in there.
I think the Dodgers have to be looked at as.
I think the Dodgers will win it all. Dodgers Yankees would be an amazing series.
Yeah.
I don't think the MLB could hope for a better series. Also, the Cubs. I think the Cubs. This will be an interesting year because last year the expectations were we might not make it to the World Series, but we'll make it far.
We didn't.
We didn't even make it to the playoffs. So of course,
it was a brutal last few weeks.
We were in contention right there. The Nationals just came away with it to take that second wild card spot from us, and then they moved up to first. Actually,
what happened after that?
And it was. I remember Christian Yelich got injured. Probably a month left. Everyone's like, "Here we go. Christian Yelich is out. It's all time."
The Brewers had the heart.
The Brewers had the heart. I have to say kudos to the Cardinals as well. Year in and year out with lower payroll,
they're a model.
They're always consistent. They are a model organization. They treat the city of St. Louis very well.
You got the Rays, the Athletics, the Cardinals.
Going in. But I know, Ben, you and I both love college football. College football is my favorite sport to watch. It's just everything in. I love college football. I know you love college football as well. Right here, I'm going to look up a quick college football's upcoming standings for this upcoming year.
Yeah.
Who do you think, Ben, will be the number 1 team by the end of the college football season? Who will be atop?
I could see Ohio State. I could see a few teams. It's never smart to bet against Alabama, but with Justin Fields coming back, I could see Ohio State being the best team in football this year. They're consistently great, and I think Ryan Day proved last year that he's able to fill the shoes of Urban Meyer. So I think that with Justin Fields coming back, Ohio State has to be looked at as one of the top teams. You have Georgia, you have Alabama, you have Clemson, but I think Ohio State is in my opinion.
There are a lot of very good teams this year coming in. I think people are saying it's a down year. I personally don't know why. I think there are a lot of good teams. I think Houston University will make a big comeback year after having just a not pretty year last year. They went 4-8, weren't even close to a bowl game, and they had talent here. King was there for a couple games. They had a couple guys, but nothing came from it. I think USC is going to be better this year.
USC.
I think USC will be good. Notre Dame will definitely be better this year. We didn't get everyone back, but we got a lot of people back. I think Alabama will definitely be better.
LSU coming off probably the greatest year any football team's ever had. I mean, how do you feel about that?
Of course.
I mean, they lose Joe Burrow, they lose Clyde Edwards-Helaire, they lose a ton of guys. So I don't see them as a top 5 team this year. And I don't know how. I'm still not sold on Ed Orgeron. I think he's a good coach. I don't know if he's a great coach.
I agree with that. I think he's a good coach. I don't know if he's a great coach. Joe Brady definitely got him there. I don't think anyone can say anything about that.
I'm looking for my Michigan team, and I'm not seeing them.
Michigan is. I mean, they're a corrupt university. Michigan University is just not. It's not there anymore. My favorite
team has always been Michigan, and Brad kind of doesn't really have a favorite team. He kind of picks.
I just think Michigan is a corrupt university, and all I have to say, I'm a fan of an array of teams. Put it that way. I'm very passionate about Notre Dame football and Villanova basketball, but essentially everyone in my family, except my immediate family, has gone to the University of Florida. So I love Florida as well. I'm a fan of many teams. But overall, college football, college basketball as well. I just think it's phenomenal.
It was so painful this year when everything got canceled. I look forward to that every year, and just I follow very closely what's going on in college basketball for the months heading up to March, and it kind of stinks that coronavirus has canceled all that. So hopefully next year we'll get the tournament. And how do you think that will go out? How do you think that will play out? I know you like Villanova next year.
I do like Villanova next year. It all depends if Saddiq Bey comes back. Regardless, many insiders have Villanova being number 1 in the country. I think there are a lot of good teams next year. I think Baylor returns a lot of talent. Creighton's dangerous. Gonzaga as well, but Gonzaga's lost 3 of their dudes who are on the edge. So I'm not really sure if Gonzaga will. I'm not really sure what Gonzaga will do.
Jordan,
I think there are a lot of dangerous teams that could make a run. Will they make a run though? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean it's going to be open from now on with more and more players declaring to the G League route, which is what Jalen Green and Isaiah Todd just did. College basketball.
As long as Deshaun Nix, who's a point guard from UCLA, is from Los Angeles, California. Really quickly, going back to college football for a second, I have the sportingnews.com college football preseason rankings. I'm going to share my screen here for a second. Right here. Here we go. Clemson number 1. Occasionally, I'll do these screen share things. I just think sometimes it helps. I also have Clemson as number 1. I currently have Clemson at number 1, Oklahoma State at number 2, Alabama at number 3. No, Ohio State at number 2, excuse me.
Yeah.
Alabama at number 3 and Florida at number 4. That's how I have it going. I have Oklahoma State at 5 and Notre Dame at 6. Oklahoma State is a dangerous team. They're probably somewhat up here. I had the top 3, exactly what they said.
I haven't seen Oklahoma State.
I'm Notre Dame 6. I think Notre Dame's still good. Florida, all they lost was C.J. Henderson at the 10th overall pick, to the Jacksonville Jaguars. But other than that, Florida returns basically everyone with Kyle Trask coming back. Their first.
Here's Oklahoma State.
I don't know what to call them. Their dependable quarterback in a long time since Tim Tebow. Franks didn't really work out. In 2016, they had like 4 guys starting at one point. Florida is not the quarterback team. They're known for their great DBs and defense and their weapons on the outside. They have a bunch of wide receivers on NFL rosters every year. But here we go, Oklahoma State. This is the it team.
Sleeper.
Oklahoma State returns their quarterback, running back, and wide receiver, who all could win their respective awards for best player for their position. Spencer Sanders is a sophomore. Chuba Hubbard came back for his final year. And Tylan Wallace is the wide receiver. I'm pretty sure he's a junior or senior. Regardless, Oklahoma State is loaded offensively. And I think the Big 12 is down this year. I don't think Texas is as good. I think Sam Ehlinger is very overrated. I think Oklahoma's good, but Oklahoma just lost their number 1 wide receiver to a torn ACL. Hazelwood, I forget his first name. Excuse me for that. Jerry Hazelwood, I believe. And their defense lost a lot of guys to the draft. I remember they had a couple day 1 and day 2 guys go. So Oklahoma State didn't lose many people, and they returned their best players, which overall mattered. Chuba Hubbard was definitely on the fence about going to the NFL draft. He would have been most likely a day 2 pick. He decided to stay and make a run at the national title. I think they'll come very close. I think they'll finish the season 12-1, maybe 11-2, with a loss to most likely Oklahoma, either in the Big 12 championship game or sometime during the regular season when they play. But overall, I have Oklahoma State at 5, Notre Dame at 6, just being edged out by the top 4 I previously mentioned. Ben, who do you have in your top 4 and your first 2 teams out?
So I already said I got Ohio State. I love Justin Fields, and I think he'll only get better with another year there. Although they did lose J.K. Dobbins, I do think that they'll be fine because of Justin Fields. I have Clemson at 2. Same reason for Ohio State being at 1. They're returning Trevor Lawrence, and even though he didn't have the best year last year, I think he'll still be good enough to keep them in the top 5. And I think that the fact that Travis Etienne is coming back, I've seen him play. He is kind of dynamic, and he will be back. So Clemson is number 2 for me. I got LSU no, I don't have LSU. I have Georgia at 3. Even though they lost some players, I like Georgia. I like Kirby Smart as a coach. I think they'll be number 3.
They lost J.B. Newman, one of the most overrated quarterbacks in the nation, in my opinion.
And I think Oklahoma will be 4. I see a Big 12 team making it over a Pac-12 team, which is why I have Oregon at 5. And my 6th team is Penn State, who returns their quarterbacks, Sean Clifford and Pat Freiermuth, one of the best tight ends in the Big 10 last year. He'll be back.
But they lose KJ Hamler, and they lose their great defensive line from last year.
But they return Micah Parsons, who could be the Big 10 Defensive Player of the Year this year. And Sean Clifford could only improve. So I think that they'll be number 6. Second best team in the Big 10 this year. So that is my top 6.
I don't think anyone can dispute the top 2 teams, at least heading into the year, regardless of injury, because everyone thought this year Alabama and Clemson were the top 2 teams. No one thought LSU and Joe Burrow would make it to where they do.
I mean, that was crazy.
Overall, I personally believe Ohio State and Clemson, both of them will have phenomenal years. I personally...
All right, Brad. Well, Brad kind of stumbles.
I personally believe it is Clemson's year to lose. I mean, they have Travis Etienne back. They lost Isaiah Simmons, but basically, other than that, they returned everyone. I mean, their offensive line is stacked.
Lost AJ.
They did. He's a cornerback though, and Clemson is known for having so much depth at the DB and safety position. So I think it's Clemson's to lose. I think Trevor Lawrence is hungry after losing to a stacked LSU team in the national championship game. But I think Ohio State's also very loaded. I think Ohio State can make a deep run. I think Justin Fields is an elite quarterback. I think the Big Ten is weak this year. I don't believe that.
The Heisman next year.
I don't believe that Penn State is a top 10 team in the country. I don't believe Michigan's a top 25 team in the country.
What?
I don't believe there is a Big Ten team currently that should make a New Year's Six game. I don't think Penn State should make a New Year's
Ohio
Six.
State.
Well, Ohio State, no, of course, other than Ohio State. Yeah, excuse me. Sorry.
Well,
But
okay. I got 3 other Big Ten teams that could make a New Year's Six game. I have Minnesota, I have Michigan, and I have Penn State.
Minnesota's good. I think they lost a lot of guys. They have a harder schedule. But I don't know. I think Penn State could. I don't know. But I think for Michigan, excuse me, I'm saying I think a lot. Michigan just corrupt. I don't know how they have so much money and they don't spend it well. The amount of opportunities they have, the committee will know. If I was on the committee, I don't care. If someone flags me this in 20 years, if I'm somehow on the committee, I'm not taking Michigan over undefeated Appalachian State. I'm taking Appalachian State if I can, because bowl games have rules like you need a Power 5, like whatever.
Power 5.
But I'm taking Appalachian State over Michigan, and Appalachian State beat Michigan a couple years ago when they played, which takes us to biggest upsets of all time. Ben, in your mind, in college football, what is the biggest upset of all time?
Well, it's going to be hard to top Appalachian State's victory over Michigan, but I might have one. Old Dominion, I don't remember specifically because I didn't know that this would be a question we would be asked, but Old Dominion beat, I'm pretty sure in the past years, Old Dominion, a team that went like 3-9 in the Conference USA, beat a ranked Virginia Tech team.
At Virginia Tech, I remember that game.
So that was a stunning. I mean, a ranked ACC team loses to
that was Virginia Tech. That was the Virginia Tech team that was the lunch pail defense and might have had the best. That might have been the most underrated defense of all time. They lost the Notre Dame team that was ranked, I think, 3rd at that time, and then came up 3rd facing Clemson in the college football playoff. But that Virginia Tech team pushed Notre Dame in the first half. I remember it was Virginia Tech was up going into the second half, I'm pretty sure. Maybe Notre Dame was up by exactly a point. But that Virginia Tech team was very good. Their only shakiness was at quarterback, though. I remember they had a Kansas transfer, Patrick Willis, in there for a couple games. I think they had 3 or 4 guys. But that was a good Virginia Tech team.
And they allowed
not have lost
49 points to Old Dominion. That defense. I mean,
I have to say, though,
what happened?
In my opinion, the most bizarre upset is definitely the USC Stanford game.
Oh,
I'm not sure the year.
2007.
Back when Stanford was awful. Back when Stanford had no presence in athletics.
They had Richard Sherman.
They had Richard Sherman a few years later. But
no, I think they had Richard Sherman on that team.
That game was one of the craziest. Maybe they did it. 2007, I'm looking it up here. But that was a crazy game.
Yep.
I remember USC was favored by 41 off the top of my head. That was a pretty crazy game.
That game kind of lifted Jim Harbaugh. I mean, that was his first real success as a coach. So, or as a coach at a big program. So, that could be the game that we look at when we talk about Jim Harbaugh's career getting started as a coach. I think he's still doing well at Michigan, but
I don't know. Time will tell. Ben, thank you for coming on the show. It was a blast having you.
Thank you for having me on.
Hopefully we'll have this again. First stream in the books, a little under 30 minutes. It was good. We're still getting used to stuff. Sorry.
Yeah, we gotta figure some stuff out.
But I think we have it under control now. We'll have a social media presence starting soon. I'll be on that, alerting you guys when streams are going on, when streams aren't. But overall, thank you guys for the support. It's been a great stream, Ben. I'll see you later.
See ya.